Hello, everybody. Long time no see. It's been a minute since I've streamed. This is Angela R. Sasser, artist, writer, artisan. I'm here today because I wanted to hop back into streaming with this piece right here. I'm going to show you guys how I turn this into a coloring page. Now, before I begin that, I should introduce myself to those who are new to my work. You can see more of my art at angelasasser.com, which I'll put this in the chat. And when you go to angelasasser.com, you'll be introduced to a portal where you can be taken to any of my galleries. I create fantasy art, a more whimsical art nouveau, and I also have leather crafting, if you like masquerade masks and enjoy seeing that sort of thing. And then I also write advice articles and do supply and art supplier reviews over at the Muses Library. So this site will take you to any of the cool things to explore. So have fun with that. So let's dive right in. I want to turn this painting into a coloring page. So the way I do that, I use Photoshop CC. And I have my original painting in here at 600 DPI. I format for 8.5 by 11 inches since that's the most popular size for coloring pages. And the way I set that up is the original painting's on a bottom layer. Then I put a layer of white set to about 34% opacity just to make it a little easier to see the lines that I'm going to be drawing on top of this. And a little introduction to this piece here. She was created back in 2011, so she's kind of an oldie. The title of this piece is Terrible Dawn, and she was made with watercolor with color pencil here in the wings. And she was created for the Angelic Visions book that I wrote and illustrated for Impact Books. And that book teaches you how to use mixed media to create fantasy art angels. So if you're curious how to do this look and enjoy warrior angels as much as I do, then you might want to check that out. And that can be found at... I'll also put that in the chat. Book is called Angelic Visions and can be found at... The book is actually out of print right now, so it's hard to find the physical version. You can maybe still find a few copies around. I have a few copies here in the studio, but there is a digital edition as well. So anyways, I'm happy to get back to streaming since it's been so long. Ooh, let me get the music going for you guys. Music maestro. So this painting is called Terrible Dawn because I wanted a warrior angel with that sort of presence to her. And I admit there's a little bit of inspiration there from that scene with Galadriel where she's all like, "You'll have a terrible and beautiful queen." So that kind of inspired me to go with this kind of awesome, beneficent angel that actually is terrifying but is a force for good. So anyways, and I definitely prefer the warrior angels to the softer types of angels. But as for the inking, I tend to leave it at about 11% smoothing for a hard brush, a hard round brush with the pressure size. So when you go into your brush settings under the shape dynamics, you got to make sure it's under pin pressure so it will detect the pressure of your stylus. And that's it. I don't do anything fancy for my lines. I just like that classic hard round. I use it for a lot of things. Lazy Nezumi is also good if you don't have Photoshop CC, or you just prefer finer control of your lines, but the 11% smoothing works for me. Hey, it's Azan! Good to see you in the chat. We haven't streamed in so long. Messed up the chin already. But, it's just nice to be back streaming. I figured it's a good time to just slow down and chill out. There's a lot of anxiety going on in the world right now with this pandemic going on. And I thought it'd be nice to just hop on and make some art, and if people want to chill out with me and watch as I obsessively make lines happen, maybe it'll soothe some people out there. Or maybe I'm just weird and I enjoy watching lines happen. It's like soothing to me in some weird ASMR way. At least I know I'm in similar company. Yeah, this gal was one of my favorite pieces from Angelic Visions. So I'm happy I finally got to make a coloring page of her. My convention presence is also another thing that suffered from this pandemic, so I thought, hey, if I'm gonna have more time at home, since I'm not gonna be working any conventions, then I might as well hop on and try to stream more for you guys. So here we are. Hopefully I can do some more streams. I'm thinking of even just hopping on when I'm doing studies and whatnot, so you guys can learn with me. Gonna make my brush a bit smaller, so these tattoos are not so heavy. But yeah, I've decided to stay home because my husband's in a vulnerable population right now, as he is a heart and cancer patient. So we said, well, it's time staying for a bit, my dear. It's just not worth it for us to risk him. So I'm glad streaming exists, because we're going to be spending a lot of time inside. I've even been pondering, like, maybe doing some kind of, like, the weekends I would have been working conventions, maybe I could hop on and stream and do, like, a virtual convention where I either go with other artists and participate in those kind of events, or even just hop on my onesies and give a demo and talk about things. We'll see what happens. But it's on the back burner. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. I'd also love to know, what are you guys doing if you have more time inside right now? Are you reading books? What are you reading? Are you watching those movies you've always wanted to watch? Is anybody else getting an echo? I'm not sure I have too many more streamers, but my speaker is broadcasting to my headphones, so if you are getting an echo, it may be that you have me on speaker and it's going through your own microphone, so you may need to move your mic and your speaker farther apart. But I don't think it's on my end. Weird. fixed now. So is it my voice that is echoing? Or is it the... Oh, how strange. Is it still echoing now? Oh. Nothing has changed. Computer. What are you doing? Okay, try it. Let's see, am I still echoing? Huh. I wonder if I just had an extra audio input going and did not realize it. Oh well. I think I fixed it. I will just roll with it. I don't even know where the extra microphone is in here, but I think I've muted it. So I am planning to watch Westworld, the original movie, because I've never seen it and I'm a big Yul Brynner fan, and seeing the TV series has made me want to see that original movie. I'm also a Michael Crichton fan, so I'm kind of excited to see this Jurassic Park that existed before Jurassic Park. So I'm gonna have a marathon with Westworld and Future World. Hey Tom! Nice to see you in here too. We're drawing angels. And I'm gonna add some detail into here because I think some detail is nice to add for coloring pages because people like having extra little bits and bobs to fill in. It can't be too sparse for a coloring page. Though the only thing about making a coloring page from a pre-existing painting is that I want to sit here and fix all my old mistakes, right? Hindsight being 20/20 on pieces after all. Her expression has turned into this, like, bemused, like, tiny demon, you amuse me with your struggles. But it kind of works. This was a small painting too. If I recall, the original is about 5 by 7 inches. So a lot of these details were kind of small in the original. And I still think that even though I have a nice fancy Cintiq, I have better control over my lines when I'm doing this manually. But it's still just a lot easier to edit things digitally when it comes to line art. And it's also easier to stream. I don't have very good lighting in my studio. But yeah, tell me what you guys are gonna read. What are you gonna watch? So Westworld and Future World, since I learned there's also a sequel to that original Westworld called Future World. I have made the mistake of doing the face first, which is the most intriguing part of the image for me. Now I'll just be bored of the rest. So yeah, the face is done. I guess I'll do the rest. And I'm choosing to ink some of these value shifts because, again, I'm trying to make some interesting shapes for people to fill in once they color this later. Let's see, I also want to catch up on my reading. I used to be such a bookworm when I was a kid. I would devour like a book a day, it felt like. And as an adult, I think I got burned out because I was actually an English art double major. So once I graduated college, I was like, okay, I don't have to read anything dense that makes my brain overwork itself. I can just not read, and I kind of fell out of the reading habit because I just got so overworked by it for my degree, which is really sad. But I want to get back into the habit because there are a lot of great books out there, and if I want to write more, I really need to get back into that reading habit and keep my vocabulary fresh. So I'm planning to read The Wrath in the Dawn, which is a modern version of the Tale of Scheherazade, where she willingly goes to the prince who has been killing his brides, or the king, rather, to try and figure out how she can save the next brides and outsmart him. There's actually a webcomic version of The Wrath in the Dawn as well that I really want to check out, so I might have to do both. Check out the webcomic and read the novel that inspired it. The art for that webcomic is really gorgeous. Ooh, it sounds like you've got a lot of awesome crafts going on. I need to learn how to knit sometime because there are so many fun patterns online. Like, I saw someone knitted Twi'lek Twi'lek headtails, and they look amazing. Of course, that's knitting, not... Or it might have been crochet. I think I tried crochet once and ran away screaming. But I could see how it'd be really comforting and nicely repetitive. What's your necklace experiment, Zan? Like, what materials? I always imagine with this character, her hair is made of fire. She actually kind of strikes me as a fire Gensai from Forgotten Realms. She would totally make a cool fire Gensai. Which reminds me that our group's looking at going to, our role-playing group is looking at going to Roll20 as well, just to keep my husband safe right now. And wow, it has really improved since we looked at it years ago. There's so much you can do on it. I'm kind of excited by the idea of making tokens for everybody on there. crochet jewelry is very intriguing. You'll have to show me some of those. How that looks later. Just reminds me of how all the introverts are like, yay! Nothing is changing for me, except now I have more craft time, I suppose. Although it's kind of hard for me as an introvert because I'm kind of used to being on my own. But at the same time, those days that I could get out of the house, like go to coffee with friends or my mother, those are really important for my sanity, to just kind of get out of the art cave and whatnot. So, yeah. I've taught my mother how to use Discord, so that should hopefully help replace that social interaction outside of the studio. We'll see how it goes. I haven't gone insane yet. Yet, that we know of. So, we'll see how things go. I am using this as a personal challenge to try and sort of break my addiction to fast food. Because I love chicken McNuggets, y'all. I just love them. They're my happy place. I think I was brainwashed by Ronald McDonald as a child that McNuggies would bring me happiness. So I have to break that McNuggie habit. Oh, technically I don't have to. I could still do drive-thru, but I've just been kind of like using this as a challenge to try and stay more inside and cook at home and be a little healthier. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Oh yes, Hero Forge did the big Kickstarter. So now that they've done that, they're adding a token maker, like you said. And also they're doing like a new 3D printing where you can print textures and color. So if you don't want to paint your own figure, you can print it in different textures and add patinas. And I'm so excited by that. I really wish I had been able to put into that Kickstarter. But yeah, I was trying to be frugal at the time. I'm sort of waiting for their final release so we can maybe splurge on a figure. Even though part of me wants to just paint it myself and not have them color it for me. So we'll see how the mood strikes on that one. Once we have a little more free in the budget. But I'd love to get miniatures of all the favorite characters I've played. Like, I'd love one of Aurora from Shadowrun. I'd love one of Kalara from Exalted. If they live past 3 sessions, I tend to want to get miniatures of them. Oh, yay! That's an awesome birthday gift. Yeah, I tend to make characters, original characters from my own stories too, just because it's a nice way to get a visual without having to put a lot of your own work into it, and that's nice sometimes when you just want to do something more easily instead of having to draw them yourself. I've gotten so lazy. Zan, did you ever see that Kickstarter for a phone app where you could make... They had all kinds of races from humans and elves and stuff to... they had all these props. You could be young or old. It was super cool. Kind of like a doll maker, but aimed at tabletop RPGs. And it was done in like a traditional art looking style, kinda. I'll have to link it in the chat later. But yeah, it was a really cool Kickstarter for generating profile pictures, basically. I cannot remember the name of it for the life of me. That was another one I couldn't pitch into at the time because there are just like a billion amazing Kickstarters happening at once. Yeah, I'll have to send it to you later. It's worth taking a look at, I think. I actually can't wait to have more time now that I'm about to wrap up a large phase of one of my own Birthstone Goddess projects to kind of sit and relax. I'm giving myself an art vacation, which I had been planning for months now, but I just never expected my art vacation to be during a pandemic. It's like, hey, I wanted a month or so off, but not like this. Not like this. But I'm gonna probably draw a bunch of my own tabletop characters and get some writing done. I'm really excited about that. I love my goddesses, but I'm so tired of looking at them. So tired of looking at them. They're beautiful, but also let me look at something else for a while before I finish up the whole project with the art book and the calendar. That's such a great promo for my project. It's like, hey, look at this art project that I'm sick of looking at, but I promise it's good. That's the life behind the art, y'all. That's funny. I keep saying I'm gonna do all this stuff, so we'll see what I actually end up doing once I get a little time to myself, because usually I talk about doing all the things, right? Like, I'm gonna read all the books and do all the things, but then I just end up kind of like playing video games and watching TV, which I actually think isn't necessarily a bad thing, because if you're on vacation, you're on vacation. You're trying to let your brain refresh itself, which is important when you're in a creative industry. You can't just work your creative muscles all the time, or you can really, really stress them out. So I'm gonna give myself permission to play video games. If that's what I want to do, I'm gonna do it. Sure, yeah, that would be really great. I gotta see what our group is up to and what our new schedule for game sessions is gonna be. But I'd love to crash your game and be a random NPC. Yay, so many hair loops. This is so fun to draw. Flowy hair is the best. Yeah, we try to keep a schedule, but sometimes for our game sessions, that is, we try to schedule it because there's so many moving parts for people. But it is a bit like herding cats, you know, like one person's got a family event or another person's got like an art event or what have you. So we try to keep the same day, the same time. Else all is madness. So much hair. I can just see people going crazy and doing like rainbow hair with this. That'd be fun. Rainbow hair, or like instead of orange flame, they do like a blue flame. That'd be cool. Colorist, do it. Do it, do it, do it. There's so many more swirls to go. Let's see, what other books do I want to read? I say I want to get into newer fantasy stuff, but I've been looking at one that was made in the 80s? 90s? I think it's called the Black Company or the Black Chronicle, and it's about this gang of mercenaries who's led by this cool female merc, and they get into godly shenanigans of some sort. I've been recommended to that one a whole bunch by my Exalted buddies, so I need to check that out finally. It sounds cool. I'm always up for groups of mercenaries. It's always such great character interactions when you've got a group of cool folks, especially mercenaries. It is perhaps a trope I like in my own writings as well. Group dynamics are fun. I've also been playing the video game Bloodborne. A lot of my friends are kind of laughing at me because it's my first From Software punishing, grueling game. And I actually tried to play it 2 years ago, and I got beat by the werewolf at the very beginning, and I was like, nah, I can't do it. I can't do this game. It made me feel like a failure. But I picked it back up again recently, and it finally clicked for me. It's like, it's not about failure, it's about how each death brings you closer to mastering your skills and to learning. Like, each time you get a little farther and die, you're learning more about the enemy and the location. And that kind of gameplay loop is really intriguing to me, so I've finally got the Bloodborne bug. Plus, that whole gothic Victorian aesthetic is totally up my alley, like dry corner hats and duster jackets and old rickety guns. I'm totally here for that. So I'm really enjoying it, and my friends are like, "Is this stress relief for you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it is." It's actually really fun to me to get into a new area and explore all the nooks and crannies, because this game actually rewards you for exploration. There's always like an item hidden in a secret little pocket of the world, or an enemy that you might not have found unless you were thorough. So I really love the reward factor. Lots of people into Percy Jackson lately. Has there been a new, am I behind on the pop culture and there's been a new movie or something for that one? Or is it that there was a new release in the series and everybody's catching up to read it now? That's probably it. I really liked the movie. Maybe I should pick up the series sometime. The rendition of Hades and Persephone in that one really amused me. Where Persephone was just like, God, he's so annoying. Like, she was just so done with Hades. She's like, blah, 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 you're such a scary ruler of hell, whatever. I don't know if the book sticks to that rendition of her, but it is amusing nonetheless. Let's see, where are we looking? We're still just in the hair, you guys. We haven't escaped the hair. That's okay. We got this. Yeah, I'm not surprised to hear that the books are probably really different. I loved the Uma Thurman Medusa in the movies too. She made a really fun Medusa. I just loved the whole aspect of re-envisioning the mythological monsters in a more modern context, kind of like American Gods style, which is another thing I really want to catch up on. Either the books or the TV series, even though I've heard the TV series kind of made some bad moves firing the amazing actor for Anansi and the Djinn, or Jinn, rather, not Djinn. So that sucks. But I'll watch it for the mad guy, the leprechaun, because that actor was cool. And I at least want to see the disaster wrap up. And hope that maybe they'll hire the actors back. Maybe they will see sense after the fan outcry. Hey, Sandy. Always nice to have you in the chat. What are you up to today? Yes, is the book Anansi Boys inspired by American Gods? I can't quite remember. I know there were some spin-offs though. Undo. I haven't decided yet how much of these little salt crystals that I added that I want to ink either. Because I don't want that to conflict too much with the all the delicate swirlies I've got going on here, so we'll get to that last, I think. That way I can balance the detail of what I have in the character with what's showing up in the background. Gosh, I really want to show you guys that Wrath in the Dawn comic, but I'm trying to be good and stay focused on my work here. Must not go down the internet rabbit hole of pretty things to show people. Honestly, I really need to read the rest of the Kushiel's series where the protagonist switches to a male character, Imriel. I have not read Imriel's trilogy. I'm such a bad Kushiel's Legacy fan. I finished Phaedra's trilogy and haven't read the rest yet. Or there's another female character, Moirin, I think her name is. Haven't read that one either, so seriously, I've got to get back to reading, you guys. I've got so many years of books to catch up on. Ah, the comic. Well, maybe seeing someone else working on art will help get you in the arty mood. That always helped me back when I was in college with my friends. We would just all, like, group up in the student center at that one table that we'd take over, like a plague of locusts. And whoever would draw would just start drawing and sort of get infected by the person next to them to draw more stuff. Ironic analogy to use, but that was kind of how it was for us. We would just... Someone would start drawing and the other person would be like, now I want to draw too. I miss that about being in a setting with other artists. But I'm glad we can sort of replicate that. Yeah. I'm talking about Zan. / Psyche. But, I'm glad we can sort of replicate that digitally now from the safety of our own homes. Safety and comfort. Even though I do miss hanging out in person too. We will definitely have to make that happen. Swirls. Swirly shapes. So I'm trying to outline the major shapes with a heavier hand and then come back into these smaller lines with a lighter hand, just to have some interesting line variation in here. That's good, Sunny. I'm glad you can set yourself aside some time. Sometimes having that bulk time where you know you can focus is nice. Get all the things done. I do kind of miss that drawing habit that I had in college, too. I definitely don't draw as much as that anymore. Like, I draw for work, but as far as just kind of, hey, I'm gonna sit down somewhere and just sketch in my sketchbook for fun. What is that? Fun? No. All work must be for, or all art must be for work, and that's been like a bad side effect of doing art more as a professional. But I really want to work on that on my art vacation. I want to learn how to play with art. Just have fun and not try to attach so much expectation to everything that I create, because that's a real killer of creativity and enjoyment, when you just have to, when everything you create becomes monetized. But I seriously want to work on it and figure out how to play with art again, because I think that's important. I'm gonna make it happen, you guys. So I'll probably just... I might even start streaming that. Like, I find that when I'm streaming, it's easier to be forced to focus because I can't go down the internet rabbit hole. I basically have to sit and focus on Photoshop or my sketchbook or what have you and draw. So maybe I can do some art cafe, kind of like I did back in college with friends, where you just all gather up in the student cafe and just draw without any expectations. Just have fun. Don't worry about whether it's good. Just let it be. I miss drawing stupid stuff too, like just stupid chibi comics and whatnot. I want to learn how to be dumb again. Be dumb with my art. Maybe we can even host some drink and draws on here. Part of me think that's either a really good idea or a really bad idea. I can't drink over much anymore, but I could save my stomach for one night every so often, perhaps. Yeah, you heard that right, Sandy. It's they have events at some of the art hangouts in town where you just get together and you have beer and you draw with other artists. It's called a drink and draw. They're pretty fun, but after a while your hand-eye coordination is not so good, so whatever you end up drawing is really awesome in the moment of inebriation, but when you get home and sober up, it's not very good looking anymore. And look, I only bought one bottle of blackberry wine for this apocalypse, and it may already be gone. The first few days were pretty rough for me, so I was just like, I'm gonna have some cake and some wine, and I'm gonna sit in the house and cake and wine. That's what happened. But maybe I can go, when we get some supplies, I can go and find some more wine. Seems to be the most stomach friendly for me. Now, do I want to draw that line in the lip? It looks weird. It looks weird. Ugh, whiskey. That is such strong stuff. I'm not a huge fan of whiskey, but Kev brought home from his job, he brought home Screwball brand peanut butter whiskey, which sounds so gross, but it was delicious and smooth. So if you guys ever see Screwball peanut butter whiskey, get it, it's delicious, and it goes well in coffee. It's a much sweeter, smoother whiskey, so if you like sweet drinks, which I definitely do, I do recommend peanut butter whiskey. And of course, drink responsibly, kids. I keep obsessing over her eyes. Yep, drink responsibly. I'm just throwing my disclaimer in there in case there are younger audience members that stumble upon this recording later in the future. Alright, let's see. How are we looking? Okay, we got all her swirly hair done. Yeah, I'm pretty much on the same page as Psykeen. Just about every alcohol tastes like marker fluid to me. And I'm an artist, I know. Artist slash very curious child. I was trying to, during a scientific experiment as a child, figure out why the Mr. Sketch markers smelled like grape and whatnot, and I can attest that they do not taste like grape. It was a very scientific experiment. Alright, well, I survived all her swirly hair, so now we can go into the rest of this outfit, which should be a little easier. I do wonder if there's something in people's taste buds where they just experience these tastes differently. Some people really love, like, some people can actually detect those notes of chocolate and cherry and wine, and I'm just like, this just tastes like wine to me, and I don't taste any notes of chocolate or spring air or whatever the heck is supposed to be in these things. Although, weirdly, I do like cilantro. It doesn't taste soapy to me. It tastes of deliciousness. Although if you put too much, it can get kind of soapy. No, computer, I don't want to break. Alright. It's break time, you guys. Let's stretch with the computer model. And I agree, Psykeen. It's like delicious soapiness. The soap can get overwhelming. The soapy taste can get overwhelming if you put too much cilantro, but if you have a bit of acid with lime or any kind of citrus in cilantro, it's so delicious. My favorite ramen bowl at Jinya Ramen is the one that's all lime and cilantro. It is the best. I'm not supposed to eat it for acid reasons, but I eat it anyway because I hate myself. And it's delicious. Move those shoulders. Sandy, which Twitch feature are you talking about? I haven't used Twitch in so long. Excuse me. That I'm sure there's a bunch of new features that I have no idea what they are. Highlighting. Cool. Okay, we're not going to take the 8.5 minute break after this. I'm just going to skip this. But it's always good to stop and stretch and get those arms and hands loose for a minute while you're drawing. Otherwise, you could really do some damage to yourself, so back to it. Oh, neat. I use the Restream chat tool, so I'm not sure if I can highlight via that, but maybe I can highlight messages after the fact. Figured because there's some interesting texture in the metal and cloth here that I would get a little more detailed in here. She has such a little knife now that I now that I look at this. I guess any knife over 3 inches can be deadly, but I am laughing that I made this cool warrior chick and I gave her such a tiny, tiny knife. Alright, see you, Tom. Perhaps her tiny, tiny knife can explode into a giant fire flame sword or something. Almost through. Oh my gosh, I must not fix the perspective issues of some of these elements. That way is madness. Do not fix it, Angela. Yeah, let's go with that. Sandy says she could cut the air so hard the air hurts people far away, like total anime style. I like it. Let's go with that. Ugh, okay. This is one thing I miss about doing digital is that every time I mess up a line, I can just undo. If this were on a sketchbook, I would just have to thicken the line until I cover my mistakes. Although when I do ink with traditional tools, I tend to use Micron pens. I do find my control to be a bit more precise when I'm inking traditionally. Which is weird. I kind of wonder why that is. Or maybe because I can sit here and rotate the canvas much quicker, which saves milliseconds, which ends up adding time. That's my theory anyways, that I can easily adjust the sketchbook in micro ways, you know? It's funny, her tattoos remind me of my old Shadowrun character, Aurora. I think I was definitely channeling that when I designed this gal's tattoos. Her tattoos were all tribal butterfly themed. And I was trying to go with kind of like skeletal bird wings inspired motif. Also trying to decide how much of the detail in the muscles I want to add lines to, but this subtle shading here doesn't seem to look right when I line it, so I'm just gonna let the contour shape get that muscle across. And if people want to shade that in themselves, they can. Has anyone played that new Ori game? Because I loved the first Ori game. And I need to play that new one because it's on Game Pass. But I'll probably get frustrated and hand the controller to Kev because I'm such crap at those games. It's a beautiful game though, all 2D animation and it's really glowy and surreal, like a Ghibli movie. Highly recommend it. It's such a gorgeous game with gorgeous art and soundtrack and all that. But it's definitely a challenging side scroller with that puzzle element in the platforming. So I won't say it's easy, but it's definitely worth looking at least. At least until the music becomes terrifying because you've played the level over and over again trying to beat the same level, so you're forced to listen to the music over and over again. But usually it's a very awesome experience. If you're not crap at it like I am. Game Pass is gonna be our best friend right now because we're subscribed for a long time, so there's just all the games on there. I'll really have to look through and see what they got. Now is a good time to play games. And Ori's a new release and it went right on to Game Pass, which is awesome. I think any of the Microsoft produced games will get put on there immediately, so that's pretty cool. I'm curious what colors people will choose when they color this character. What would you choose if you were coloring this character? Rainbow hair? Orange tattoos with blue hair? I think that would look cool. It's been suggested to me to do a color along, which could be fun. I'll have to brainstorm about what image I might color with everyone. Or maybe I'll put up a vote, or put up a poll so that people can vote on what they want to color together. We shall see. I would not be surprised by purple at all. Oh my gosh, the curlicues areas like this that are really tight are difficult to draw on the Cintiq. I have to angle up, set the right angle up for myself to be able to draw this more easily. A Sakura and winter themed color scheme. That definitely makes me think of silvers and very desaturated purples and browns. I think I hear a Kevin stirring. Yeah, he's been going into his job for the past couple of days, but we'll hopefully be able to work from home a little longer now. But he said it's like a ghost town driving in because there's nobody on the roads right now, which is pretty surreal to think for as packed as the commutes are usually for Atlanta. It's pretty nuts. So commutes are taking a lot less time, which is great. If you have to go out. I'm sure the deer will take over the roads here soon enough. It'll be their town. We'll have to reclaim it. Ooh, yeah, the buffering's really bad for you guys. I wonder if that's just Twitch and the general internet servers being really overwhelmed with more people lately. So if I respond late, I apologize. I have been wondering how streaming services are going to handle all this extra traffic with so many bored people being online. I know this is weird to say, but this elbow with the cast light of the blue coming in here at the at her tricep is my favorite part of the piece. I don't know, I'm drawn to very random details that I was proud that I was able to achieve. Sometimes those are an artist's favorite piece, or favorite part of a piece. It's like, yeah, that freckle there, that freckle's the best. It is kind of strange to see this old piece and think about how much I've grown as an artist. But of course, for me, that's me going, ugh, I don't want the world to see all my old crappy art. But at the same time, I know there are people who are new to my work that will enjoy it. So I just try to tell myself, people will enjoy it, and this will make a fun coloring page. So I'll tell my inner art critic to just shut up and let people enjoy things. Okay, cool. I have to periodically check and make sure I haven't accidentally paused the music again, because for some reason when I get too close to the edge of the canvas in Photoshop, it likes to pause the music. I think I will start streaming some of the games that I like to play. I miss being able to hang out with friends and just have them, or like either me or them playing games and us just chilling and watching the game happen and making dumb comments. Spectating is a lot of fun, so maybe we can capture that magic of hanging out with friends online. Although I'm hesitant to stream Bloodborne because I am not a hardcore player. I'm the most casual Bloodborne player. Like, I'm not about skill. I'm about cheesing a boss until it is dead because I just want to get the story and explore. So that's a lot of me having to do stuff over and over again because I'm so very bad at that game. But if someone being very bad at Bloodborne is your thing, maybe I can stream it. And if some rando comes in and tells me to get good, y'all can just be like, shoosh. This is not the Get Good channel. This is the Angela's playing very badly and it's hilarious channel. I still want to stream Fatal Frame as well. Like, I've been talking to Kev to try and get Fatal Frame to work on a platform that we can stream. So I'm working on it. Because I'd love to show Saikeen the newest Fatal Frame with the Water Maidens, because that's pretty cool. Wow. It's funny what entertains people. I'm kind of a perfectionist, and I think that does bleed over into my game playing, so I'm like, no, I must do it perfect! Like, you can just ask my husband. Kevin watched me play Resident Evil, which, dude, I think the Resident Evil 3 demo has dropped today or soon. We definitely gotta stream that. That would be a lot of fun to watch somebody play, either me or Kevin. I want to watch Kevin squirm. Ha 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 ha. Well, ironically, I'm the one who ended up playing the Resident Evil 2 remake instead of him, so I've got that gamer pride for that. I made it through Resident Evil Remake. Before my husband. Ha ha ha. Oh my gosh. That is funny. The guy had to start a whole new character because he got stuck in the geometry. That is something that would happen to me in a game. Oh, I forgot that I was originally mentioning Resident Evil because Kevin watched me play through Resident Evil 7 as well, and it drove him a bit mad because I kept playing sections over again until I got them right. I would be like, no, I was horrible, and then I'd sit there and just replay the whole section again, and he'd be like, why are you doing this to yourself? And I'm like, no, I must get it all perfect. And mostly because I'm an extreme hoarder when it comes to supplies in horror games like that one, because, you know, that's survival horror Resident Evil. I was always afraid that if I was just too shit at the game that I just wouldn't have enough supplies to make it through, so I'd be like, no, I wasted too many bullets, let me just replay again. A friend has also recommended Sea of Thieves to me, which looks like prime streaming material. So I think that is on Game Pass. So that might have to happen too. Sea of Thieves looks like it'd be full of fun moments like that. So we'll see. I'm gonna figure out my streaming setup, see if I can optimize it for games, and maybe get Fatal Frame, because for sure, I want to make a Fatal Frame stream happen because more people need to know this game and love it and pee their pants because it's so scary. I'm attempting to summon tea ninjas with my mind because I could really go for a cup of tea right now. But it still isn't working. One day it will work. One day. When I'm just that popular. Okay, where was my brain at when I drew this sash? Because it's like... I think I forgot to add a line in the original, so we're gonna add it now. I want to say that I maybe had photo reference for this piece, but now I can't remember. Alright, she's coming along, you guys. I think this was drawn during that time when I just put like fingerless gloves on all my characters. I think I still put fingerless gloves on all my characters. I just like fingerless gloves, okay? I think I just like... I like fingerless gloves. I like to use them myself because they let your fingers touch things, and I'm kind of big on being able to feel things while protecting my hand or keeping my hands warm. Since I have very cold fingers all the time, which kind of makes drawing hard. Sometimes, especially in winter. Oh gosh, what is this finger doing? Is it like a thumb? Just ignore it, Angela. You don't have to fix all the mistakes. I am always up for hand warmers of all shapes and sizes. I tend to collect super pretty ones. When budget allows, anyways. My favorite fingerless hand warmers are a pair that I got from... Oh boy, I can't remember the shop now, but... It might have been Story Arts, but they have the words to Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven on them, and also an illustration of a raven integrated into the text design. It's pretty cool. Because I'm still a goth girl at heart, so gotta represent Edgar Allan Poe, one of my favorite gothic authors. Trying to think. I'm gonna try and spell the shop name for you. But they're pretty big for taking classic literature and creating scarves and glove warmers, hand warmers, and all that kind of thing. So there, I put it in the chat for you. So either they have an Etsy or and a main website, so check either of those. I want to say I went through Etsy, but they probably have a main website too. And I want to get the Kushiel's Dart stuff they have, because they have words from the book and then an eye that has a red mark in it, which is inspired by the main character's heterochromia. So that sounds, it looks really cool, and I want it. Gosh, we haven't even gotten to the background yet. We can do this. This is also the time in my art career where I gave everyone kind of like X-Men inspired utility belts. If they're a warrior, they have a utility belt of pockets. I don't know. Maybe she puts like angel warrior stuff in there, like, I don't know, whetstones for her knives. Smaller knives. There are some habits that I have from being a Jim Lee, Jack Kirby fan of X-Men. So I came to love that series in the 90s, and everyone had the pointy shoes and the belts and the jackets. Oh no, Saikina's found story arts. Is it not the neatest store? That's the coolest thing to do with your favorite stories. And I think they let you do custom graphics with your own stories. So if you upload your own words, you can make stuff out of them. At least I swear they do that. I'm not 100% certain. But it's worth looking into if that sounds like your thing. But yeah, pretty sure this belt is here because I love X-Men back in the 90s. And it just infected me with utility belts. So what could an angel carry in her utility belt? Demon repellent. Snacks? Tea? When you need a break from demon slaying, Heaven Brand crackers. I like sugar and spice and everything nice. She just sprinkles that on the demons. This'll teach you not to be demons anymore. Sugar and spice and everything nice. Or I'll stab you with my short knife. And now I'm just obsessing over these lines looking weird. Cannot tell if these were supposed to be tooled leather or like pockets. Well, I have no idea. I cannot remember what I was thinking, so we're gonna go with just random leather. Random tooled leather, yeah. I like the idea of she just has smaller angels in her pockets to tickle the demons with. We're totally ruining her fearsome dawn image. Oop. Got too close to the edge again. Make sure I didn't pause the music. Okay, good. Yay, soon I'll get to do the wings. Wings are always a lot of fun. The more I'm thinking about this, the more I think I did just basically use this as an excuse to sneak my Shadowrun character into a commercial assignment. She has so many Aurora-esque vibes to her. Yay! It's wing time! Let's crack open these wings! The reason there's a white space there is because this image wasn't quite at 8.5 by 11, so I'm just kind of making up the little margin so it fits that format better. And I think how I'm going to handle the wings is to sort of ink these main parts first. Just so they don't get overly detailed with small, thin lines and kind of overwhelm the eye. haven't worked in colored pencils in a long time now, actually. So it's kind of a nice throwback to see this colored pencil work. It's such a tedious way to work, but I really, really enjoyed it. The colors have this satisfying way of blending together. And it has a nice texture to it, which worked well on top of watercolor. That was my calming tactic back then, was to do a wash first and then come back and pick out the details with the watercolor, or with the color pencil rather. It meshed well together. And I think at some point in the future I actually want to come back to this method, except instead of using watercolors, I want to try using washes of acrylic instead. And this would be inspired by Tran Nguyen, who does this beautiful, surreal, mixed media work with colored pencil and acrylic washes. And reading about the way she does things made me want to try it, because I feel like you get more depth of value with acrylic that way, rather than watercolor, which is, it doesn't get that the deep darks like acrylic does, for the most part. And I also feel that acrylic is just going to be more light fast over the years. It's something I could also varnish, extend the life of it. So I want to try mixing, basically using acrylics the way I would with watercolors, and then coming on top of that with colored pencils. Although one of the problems of colored pencil is that you get a haze with them sometimes if you don't seal it. So they have some archivability issues too. But the way Tran worked is she would seal everything afterwards with a varnish, and that seemed to protect the work. And I highly recommend her Ambido book, which is the art book that kind of inspired me to come back to this technique and to experiment. She put out a really beautiful book via Kickstarter, and I think it's out from a major publisher as well, if I recall. Highly recommend that if you want to get into some cool mixed media stuff, since it has like a tutorial and also a lot of let me try that sentence over. It collects a lot of her work. So that's an artist that I really love their work. And actually, let me type that out in the chat, because her last name sounds different than you would expect. So the artist Tran. There you go. It is in the chat now. Enjoy. She did a cover for a special edition of Kushiel's Dart. That was amazing. Maybe want to get back to my own fan project where I was doing my own versions of the book covers for practice and fun. That's something else I might do for my art vacation. I'm overwhelmed with choice of what I could do. feathers. So many feathers. And if I end up going more silent, it's because these feathers take a little more brain power than the rest of this did. It means my brain is buffering while I attempt to do feathers and talk and read the chat at the same time. Buffering. Soon I'll have a lot of the pictures from this Angelic Visions book turned into coloring pages, and that means maybe there's another coloring book Kickstarter in my future. So I've been slowly but surely converting all these in the hopes that I could put together a coloring book at some point. So we're getting closer to that goal. It probably won't happen this year, but perhaps next year, once I get a few more coloring pages done. Because I know that it's really nice to have digital pages, but lots of folks just like to have the coloring book so they have something physical to work with or to collect. I know I just really enjoy having books of line art and sketches and stuff. Even if I don't color them. Now, if I did her alternate color scheme as having blue flame hair, I bet you I would go with a gold or like maybe gold wings. Oh, I know what I'd do. If she had blue flame hair, I'd probably give her like cobalt blue wings with a dusting of gold here at the top. That would be super pretty. And maybe like a cobalt blue outfit. See, now I'm making myself want to recolor and experiment with this old piece. I have a whole Pinterest board. I have a whole Pinterest board of color palettes that I've been saving and saving forever. And I need to just open that up someday and just pick a random color scheme and try to do something based on that. Get out of my comfort zones, because I notice that I tend to go towards the same color schemes for most of my pieces. And it'd be really nice to experiment. I think that was actually a really fun... That was a really fun effect that happened with the Birthstone Goddesses that I've recently completed. Because of the flowers and the birthstones having a defined color scheme, it really forced me out of my comfort zone and to think of what creative color schemes and how to make pieces around that. So I'd love to get back into that experimenting again. Something else that would make a fun activity when I'm just kind of having art playtime. I just set myself some fun color schemes to have fun with. Practice getting out of my comfort zones. The real test is going to be just dropping this whole picture out and seeing how it works. I could see I've gotten a little too thick on some of these lines. So I think to fix that, I might come in and lighten and lessen some of these areas. I'll save that for last, though. So many badass. I think I'm on like an orange and teal kick too. It's such a pretty combination. And it's like, it's no wonder movies tend to use that a lot. Trying to keep my strokes light and fast so I can get that feathery look in here. Ah! Oh, Sykeem, if you're in the future shopping for a tablet at some point, the new iPads have pretty incredible sensitivity. Like, that's become my mobile workstation. I haven't quite figured out how to paint very well on them yet, but I actually inked one of my previous pieces on the iPad, and that was pretty cool. And they are going down in price every year. And also, secret tip, Best Buy will let you trade in old equipment for credit there, and you can apply that towards the iPads that they have. Like, we managed to catch a Labor Day sale or a Memorial Day sale. I can't remember, some kind of sale, and traded in some old laptops and managed to get one for a pretty good deal. So definitely recommend an iPad for a sort of interim tablet if you don't want to get one of the big ones that is like a monitor. You know, I tried out an old Surface, to try and see if I liked that better than the iPad, and it didn't have a lot of the shortcuts that I like, and I couldn't customize a lot of the behavior, but it was an old tablet, or rather an old Surface, so it didn't quite, it probably is not reflective of what the quality of the newer ones is like. But I know that everybody kind of has their own workflow, and the shortcuts and hotkeys are really, really important to the way that I work. See, for me, when I was looking at the Surface, I also wanted to get the dial so that I can do this whole, like, rotate thing a lot easier. So for me, it would have to have been the Surface plus the dial to be able to switch between tools and rotate things. So that made it expensive. Plus you had to get the pen as well, which you also still have to get a pen with the iPad. So it all kind of adds up regardless. I could just see Gabe raging. Why don't you use the keys? They're there. There are also some other cool tablets out there, like the Huion and the X-Pen, and they're insanely affordable. I used an X-Pen. I tested out a friend's X-Pen, and it seemed pretty decent. And they went for a good deal around Black Friday. But the X-Pens weren't bad. I was really impressed. And they also are like Cintiqs, where they act like a monitor. You can see what you're working on in the tablet itself. Yeah, it took a lot of muscle memory for me to get used to the shortcuts and hotkeys, but they end up helping. It just takes a lot of repetition. Alright, I think that I've mainly got the main part of the figure complete. Just testing to see what this looks like as a line drawing. I think I'm gonna thicken the outline around the main figure, just because her wings are kind of drowning her with detail. I can see where I left out a feather too. Alright, let's see. I'm gonna zoom in and start adding some line variation around the outside. So the last thing I want to do is paralyze people with fear when they look at my coloring pages. Even though I've seen some pretty insane coloring books that are just like hyper detailed. But I kind of have a philosophy of having more balanced images. They're detailed, but they're not too detailed. So that's just kind of like my own taste when it comes to coloring pages. The super detailed ones have their place, but this is more my style. Maybe this is just me having drawn Art Nouveau for too long, where you put a heavy outline around things, but I've always found that really visually appealing because it kind of makes things nice and clear and pretty. That's better. Alright, we're on the right track. It should be really interesting when I'm attempting to do more painterly work here soon in the future. If I can break away from this method I've been working in for years now with the Art Nouveau project, I'm gonna have to really sit and practice, I think. That'll be another reason for me to, like, take a break and work on some different pieces so I can try to get back to this other style that I used to do. Like, I look at some of my painterly pieces, like the Kushil's Dart piece or the one of Rama from my novel, and I'm like, how the hell did I even do that? I hope I am still capable of painting that way and I haven't dumped it out of my brain because I remembered some other complicated information. Still sitting here trying to think of what that cool phone app that makes the RPG portraits is called. Because I want to say that they were going to offer that app for free, and then all the Kickstarter people were just going to get, like, fun extras. It's probably something really obvious like RPG Maker 2020. Alright. I think I might leave her hair pretty light and airy since I've meant for it to be kind of like flame hair. Dropping out the lines so I can better evaluate the balance of the line weight right now. Oops. Let me draw on the right layer. That would be a nightmare if I'd been doing line art on the white layer instead of the actual line layer. So once this page is done, I'm gonna put it up on Patreon first, so my $5 and up patrons can have it before everyone else because they are super special. Oh no, I have to take a break. Which is good because my back is achy because I'm old. Fine, let us break. Pardon my crackety noises while I stretch. I already see a line I want to fix, but I can't because I'm stretching. Want to fix? Hurry up, exercise thing. Oh, this one's good. I like the finger stretch. I don't realize how much I'm actually like clenching my fingers around the stylus until I do this. It is almost time for tea break. Alright. The line I wanted to fix was here. Just want to make this smoother. I actually have a habit of staring very intensely and also sticking my tongue into the corner of my mouth. And it's really hilarious because it's the rest of my family on the Sasser side does it too. We stick our tongue into the corner of our mouths. It's hilarious to see generations of Sassers doing that. Granny Sasser did that. That's how you know we're truly concentrating right there. The tongue goes into the corner of your mouth. There's some genuine focus going on. Do not disturb. Okay, now I made the line too thick. This butt line continues to fight me. But this is definitely me being just fiddly and wanting this to look good as line art on its own, and not just being a simple trace of my painting. I want this page to look good. Ah. I am too fast for the eraser side of the stylus to catch up sometimes. So I actually just flip my stylus around to use the eraser part of it. I'm so used to that. So when I don't have something that lets me feel like I'm using a traditional pencil, it trips me up. Like, I think that was one of the big adjustments problems I had with the iPad. I got real southern there for a minute, but the iPad stylus, you had to double click your finger on the button that was closer to the LED, the quote-unquote LED, and that drove me nuts. Unlearning the muscle memory of flipping your stylus around to access the eraser is one of the hardest things ever. And then I have to kind of like remember that muscle memory when I switch to that. It's hard, but I'm still practicing with the iPad, trying to get a hang of it. Probably not as much as I should. Trying to make this transition between light and airy lines and thick lines a little more natural. Alright, I think I'm ready to stop fiddling with this figure and to start seeing how I can make that background work with this too. Now I'm just avoiding the background because it's hard. I'm just staring at this for a minute to see if I did really light lines. Should definitely at least do these main shapes. And then I can figure out how detailed I want to get inside as far as trying to pick up these salt crystals with the line art. And here's where I wish for a steady hand. I realized I never added any line weight around her fingers either, so let's do that real fast. Get some variation going on. Help hint at the contour of the fingers. Before she has like hot dog fingers. Hey! Demi! It has been a while. Always nice to see a familiar face in the chat. Hope you've been doing well. You've shown up just in time for us to be victorious over the main figure. Alright, now that she doesn't have hot dog fingers, let us finish this background. Surgery? Recovering from surgery? Hopefully you are recovering okay. What a time. Hopefully you can be at home resting and healing. Well, I hope your surgeries go smoothly. Hope you have a really fast recovery, too. Want to make people dizzy with all the spinning that she's doing. Ooh, new characters are always a fun time. Do tell us about your new character. Ooh, High Elf Draconic Sorcerer. That does sound like a fun mix. I have always wanted to try a sorcerer because the whole bloodline ability thing seems like really fun. The first kind of sorcerer I will probably try will be a wild magic one, just because the idea of role-playing random effects sounds really fun to me. almost there. I think we can put some light detail in the background without making this too busy. So let's try that. I'm gonna make my brush smaller so I can get in here and make some cloud-like textures. Sure, feel free to drop the art in the chat. I can't quite look at it now, but I'll definitely check it out once my stream is done and I take a tea break. Which we should be wrapping up soon because we're on the final phase of that. Final phase of getting this background done. Which sucks because you just got here. I could linger for a few minutes. And I'm curious, was your surgery for medical reasons or something else? And that's fine if it's totally not something you want to share on a stream. Yay! I kind of had a feeling it was your gender reassignment surgery. I'm so happy for you. Congratulations, and I really wish you a smooth transition and recovery. But yeah, I kind of had a feeling that might be it. Awesome. Ooh, see, now I really want to see your character if there's heterochromia involved. I always think that's a pretty cool detail in a character design. Okay, I'm gonna sneak a look. People watching the stream can just stare at my gal's pretty face while I have a look. Oh wait, I can just bring her up in the stream. Dirt. She's super pretty. Cool commission too from BBC-chan. Love the hairdo too. Very cute. We'll see in a minute if I've made these clouds if they're too much, but I think just doing a very light outline will be just enough detail. I see another familiar face in the chat. Yeah, brother White Mage, how you doing? I always want to say that username like I'm a televangelist or something. Brother White Mage is with us today. He's gonna declare that in Suna. You're doing art property. You'll have to tell us what you mean by that. Oh man, all these people hopping on right as I'm getting into the final phase here. But we still got a little ways to go. Oh, neat. Is that like taking an a blueprint and putting it into an archivable file for the database? Aw, no more Ray art. Just retiring the character for a bit. Although there is much floof. Oh, that's pretty cool, Justin. So many folks working from home right now. Let us hope the internet does not die on us. What? Oh, that's right. You, Demi, you supported at the tier on Kickstarter where you could get your character into the book. I think there was a tier for that. That's pretty cool. I'll have to keep my eyes out for her in the book. That is awesome. I'm getting carried away in these cloud shapes. So many. So many loops. Yeah, I don't check into the main Exalted Discord too often these days. It has been super busy. I have far too many servers on my list right now to keep up with. I do poke my head in the art channel every now and again and share a thing and then leave. I'm kind of a lurker these days. But one day I will have more time for being able to hit up all these Discord servers I'm part of now. I don't know how you do it. That's way too many servers. There would just be notifications all the time. I guess that's the point, right? I do like that they've added the ability to sort your servers into folders, because that makes it a little easier to kind of sort them by topic, and then I can tune in to the ones that I'm in the mood to be reading about, that kind of thing. I hope we'll have more to talk about on the main Discord server soon, since one of the other things I really want to do next is to finish that Exalted story that I've been working on forever. So I want to finish Kalara's story and have that published in the Storyteller's Vault. I really, really want to get back to that. I keep getting hung up in other things or doing other projects, but I really, really gotta finish. It is one of the main things I'm gonna focus on soon. Because must get Kalara out to the world. She's just become one of my favorite characters lately. But also, in addition to doing just the novel, I'd love to do like NPC profiles of people from the story that people can then put in their own Exalted games, and locales and stuff from the story that people might want to set something in. I'm really excited about trying my hand at that. And then I get to draw more Exalted things. Yay! I'm really excited to move on to that soon. Oh no, there's a hair in my scan. I wonder if that is in the Angelic Visions book, that there's this hair right here in the actual painting. Whoops. The things you don't notice until you zoom in. No, it looks like a hair. But now you all know the dark secret of the Terrible Dawn painting, that there's a strange hair embedded in it. I'm not sure I'd feel any better if it was just an eyelash. I don't even have the excuse of owning a cat. It's just... You know, it's probably more than likely it's paintbrush hairs. Those come off a lot in painting if you have a brush that's old. Oh, the reason I'm saying, oh no, it's in there now, is because this is the final photoshopped... This was the final file for the book. So if it is in this file, it was printed in the actual book that is in the store right now. But I mean, you have to get in really, really close to even see that there's a hair trapped in there, so... I'm hoping... I'm sure nobody took a magnifying glass to find the hair that was in this painting. Let us hope not, anyway. No one's ever emailed me since 2011 when the book was published that, hey, I saw a hair in your painting. It adds flavor, sure. We'll go with that. Sometimes when you have deadlines, you just miss this thing when you're cleaning up paintings. All these salt crystals. It's so fun to paint with salt. But I can never get vodka to do the cool bubble effect that I've seen other people do. Maybe my vodka is just not good enough. I need to get to the good vodka. Okay, before I add too much detail, let's zoom out again. See how this is looking without the line art. Or without the original painting. It's coming. I know, I feel you, Brother White Mage. Because we're trying to house hunt ourselves so we can move out, but also not expose Kevin to anything. So our house hunting is just gonna have to be online for now. But we really want to move into a new place sometime here soon. Whoops, wrong layer. We'd like to move to a new place, but that's definitely gonna be on hold for a little while. So have you already put in your final bid and you bought the house, or are you still negotiating? Excuse me. If you want to chat your house business online. Oh man, how exciting to be in the final bid stage. I'm hoping that, not hoping, but I'm guessing that with everything going on, it's probably going to be a good time to buy a house later. We'll just have to see how we're faring once things calm down. But that's awesome, man. I hope you get it. Mama muffin. Sure. Okay, I need to cool it on the detail for the halo near the hair. I feel like that's really too much. Let's leave that simple as we get closer to the hair. I'm just gonna have like just a couple of details in here just so it doesn't look so strange and sparse, but it kind of transitions into being more bubbly on the outside. Don't ask me what this is supposed to be, just random symbolic energy halos. Random swooshy swooshes is totally a technical term in art. I'm just gonna break up this border here with some little tiny particles just to show that, so the edge isn't so weird and stark. And that should not overwhelm the detail in this. The bubbles! Alright, now it's just last minute balancing. Let's see, I think I'm gonna put some implication of that. Oh, I've drawn on the wrong layer. I'm gonna put some implication of this kind of weird energy signature here in the gap so it's more apparent that that's what's happening between these hair strands. Alright. She's just about done. Yay! We've made it to the end. I feel like this wing is a little overwhelming detail-wise as well. So I'm just gonna create some more white space in here. I'm going to simplify some of these edges. I think I'm going to, let's see, stare at this for a moment. I think it's just about done, you guys. Woo! I'm just darkening this edge since it looked like the wing was just this big area that was far larger on this side than it was on the opposite side, and now I think making that edge more apparent instead of blending with her bum helps this read a little better. So just balancing and balancing. And now I kind of do want to add a heavier outline to her wispy hair, since it's kind of getting lost, so. Time for fun! Just when we thought we were done. But I think this will make it look a lot better and more readable. Or maybe I'm just addicted to putting outlines on everything now because of Art Nouveau. Either way, we're doing it. It's kind of fun. Which is why Bloodborne is somehow stress relief for me. See how this looks by comparison to the other strands. Yeah, so much better just having a heavier line here at the bottom. Yeah, let's keep doing it. also make it easier to read what negative space is here between the hair, because it's, even with the difference in texture, it's hard to make out without color. So let's add that. Let's make that more apparent. And since there are new people, what color would you color this? Feel free to answer in the chat. I think if I were to color it, I would go cobalt, blues, and golds. With like really bright blue flame hair. Because I'm on a blue flame kick lately. Let's see, I actually forgot there was a gap in the hair up here too. Lots of gaps I missed. Now we'll probably go quiet again just because, again, art brain buffering when it comes to doing this kind of inking takes a little more of that multitask brain power. So enjoy the pretty soft music. At least I hope you can hear the music. Wish my hair was fire. That'd be pretty cool. But like fire, I could control the whether it burns or not. Or maybe I just want it to flow like fire. Like L'Oreal flame hair. Okay, we made it round. Okay, let's see how this looks without the picture. I'm gonna make the line a little heavier here along the neck and the fingers and the shoulder. And then I think we're done. I keep saying that every few minutes. Like, hey, I think we're done. Wait, no, we're not. That is the way of art. You are never truly done. Too thick. There we go. Okay. Alright, okay. I'm gonna stop noodling. Because noodling is a sign that I need to stop. So, ta-da! I'm calling it. I may come back and refine a couple of things. Like I'd want to make the lines a little thicker here. But other than that, I think it's done, y'all. Yay! Thanks for sticking with me. Oh, did I miss a section? I have no idea what section you're talking about, Psyche. Oh no! Oh wait, I see it now. Okay. I cannot stop the stream without fixing the segment on the right that didn't end up with the swooshy swoosh lines. Good catch. How did I miss that? Can't have that. Ruining my victory. It would have been a hollow victory. Okay. Wow, how did I miss that? That's what happens when you've stared too long into the abyss. Oh boy, I might as well finish the other lines over here that I was thinking. Right. Now, am I done? Let's stare at it for a second and see. Did I miss any other segments that should be obviously filled in? I think I got it all. Dang, Psykeen has the eagle eyes. This is why I'm happy when you're in my stream, so you can help me fix stuff when I've been staring too long. Alright, you guys. Now I'm clapping. Woo! Thanks for hanging out with me while I was finishing up this sheet. For those who are Patreon patrons of mine, thank you, you're awesome. You'll be getting this coloring sheet in your rewards if you're a $5 and up patron. And then I'll be putting it in my shop next week. So Patreon patrons are gonna get a head start on coloring this one. And, yeah, I'm hoping to come back for more streams. Maybe on a schedule, maybe not. We'll see. I'll do them as and when I can. And, maybe on that art vacation, we'll see. I can't make any promises right now, but I just know that I'll have a lot more time to try and stream, so maybe I'll catch you again? Thanks for hanging out. It's been really fun to see all the familiar faces. And again, if you want to see more art of mine, just look up angelasasser.com. Check out all the pretty arts, and if you really love my art, feel free to pitch in $1 on Patreon at patreon.com/AngelaSasser. It really helps me right now while we're unable to work conventions. So, thanks you guys. It's been fun, and I'm gonna go have some tea and relax, so you guys stay safe, and I'll catch you another time. Bye for now.